Welcome to HCS Talks. I'm your host, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools, Raymond Haynes. This is our Hampton City Schools podcast. If it is important to students, parents, teachers in the community, or anything that has to do with education, we hope to cover it on HCS Talks. The goal is to inform, educate, and even entertain you. Today's podcast will hopefully be an informative one, especially for those interested in pursuing a teaching degree or maybe even individuals looking to switch careers. I'm sure most listeners have heard that our nation has been experiencing a teacher shortage over the past several years. Well, that's not just hearsay. It is actually true. Young people are not going into teacher prep programs and then into the teaching field like they did in the past. Teachers are experiencing teacher burnout and leaving the field of education within the first few years of teaching, and other teachers are not working as long as they used to. So today, we're going to look at how Hampton City Schools supports our new teachers through our Hampton City Schools new teacher induction program, as well as how we support and grow our veteran teachers. Here with me today is Dr. Kim Richardson, the School Division's Director of Induction and Development. Dr. Richardson plays an important role in teacher induction and development, where the goal is to build, grow, and lead. So thank you, Dr. Richardson, for being here today. So before we dive into our discussion, please share with the listening audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am actually on my 27th year in education.
Wow.
And 19 of those here in Hampton City Schools. My youngest son is my timeline on that. So as I look back and thinking about it, it's just been a wonderful journey, and it has been a journey indeed throughout seeing some of the things that have happened and changed in education. So I started out as an elementary teacher and became an instructional specialist, moved into school-level administration, and then into various roles once entering Title I in central office. So it has been a challenge at every level, rewarding at every level, and I've been able to use a different skill set in every role I've been in. So it's exciting, challenging, but rewarding.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
Yes.
So 19 years in Hampton City Schools.
I think so, yeah.
So where were you prior to Hampton City Schools?
I started teaching in Newport News when I was in college here at Hampton University. I was substituting while I was in classes and started teaching there, but came here and started my administrative journey here.
And then you never looked back.
Never looked back.
Well, we are very fortunate that you chose Hampton City Schools.
Thank you.
So you said you have two sons.
Three
sons.
all products of Hampton City Schools.
All products of Hampton
and
City.
And they were all crabbers.
Wow. At the Hampton High School.
Yes.
All right. So are you from this area?
I'm actually from upstate New York and came down to Hampton and never went back home.
So Hampton University brought you here. All right.
Yes,
all right.
The blue and the white, and made Hampton City my home before Hampton City Schools as my place of employment. So I really love the fact that I'm in the community. I get to work in the community. My children are a part of the community. So, it's the real deal. And it really helps when I'm able to say, yeah, my son had that teacher. My youngest son went and had that same, teacher. So it really helps to just to bring it all full circle and to really feel like you're contributing in your community, not just, where you work.
Work, live, and play here in the city of Hampton. It's music to
right.
Mayor Tuck and our city manager Bunting's ears, and mine as well.
Yes.
So let's begin by talking about what is the Department of Induction and Development.
Our department is actually Induction and Development is a title and a name that has come across many years. We have been through a lot of changes structurally, and so, originally organizational development, we fall under the arm of human resources. Then we were teacher development, organizational development, induction, and then once some restructuring happened this past year and we inherited the division level work of professional development,
Right.
that's the work that we do. So I'm really grateful to have two specialists that work in my department with me, Jerry Lynn Workman as the elementary specialist, and just beginning to work with our secondary specialist, Heather Ulsh, who rounds out our team. And so the three of us, we work at the division level for professional development, of course, partnering with all the amazing people here in Hampton that provide professional development, but also we are the primary workers of our 5-year induction plan and everything that goes along with that. So the work is vast, and I'm really excited to be able to have a team because we did do it. I did do it by myself for a while, and then with Jerry Lynn for a few more years.
You did
So
it exceptionally well
well,
by yourself
well,
too. But
thank you.
it's always good to be a part of a team. And my first year here as superintendent, often talk about your teacher induction program with the first 3 years being around instruction and classroom management, and the final 2 years of that 5-year plan focus on teacher leadership as well. So talk a little bit about what that entails and how you and your specialists work towards that 5-year plan and ensuring folks not just choose Hampton as their place of employment, but also choose to stay.
Yes. Well, the first thing I want to say about the 5-year plan is that it doesn't just belong to me. So what the research shows about induction is that everybody has to have a piece of developing a teacher because they're home based. They're at a school. A school has its own climate, culture, and environment, but so does the district or the division.
Right.
So one of the components of our plan that I want to highlight is that we have levels, distinct levels of the induction work. We have our mentor level because of course that's the first go-to person. Their role is to induct that person into the daily, jobs and duties of that role. Given some of the challenges recently, we actually have a very robust division level mentoring program, which means your mentor might be in another building, but you also have someone in your building that's that contact person, for example, elementary resource teachers. So you're
Right.
the only PE teacher, you're the only librarian. So you have a person in the building to help you become familiar with all things of that building, but you also have a content person that might be somewhere else to help you specific to your role. So I work alongside with the curriculum leaders to help find those people, those mentors in other places, world language,
Makes a lot of
whatever it may
sense, yes.
be. So the mentoring is the most intimate level. And then you have the school level where the administrator, of course, in helping the educator, and I say educator and not teacher because our counselors are involved in
Yes,
our
ma'am.
induction as
Yes.
well. And so they really make sure that the educator is becoming familiar with the standards and expectations of that job. And they work alongside our mentor leads. So I'm really excited to share that this is probably our 4th year of having a mentor lead in each building. And that person is still a teacher or whatever their role is. It's a supplemented stipend. And they are our liaison with our department and the principal and the mentors and the new teachers. So they kind of are assisting that administrator to have a hand on who the mentors are. Are they mentoring? They hold building level meetings with the new teachers, little mini professional development opportunities for networking, learning, and reflection. And they also coordinate with the administrator, not only on the induction activities of all 5 levels of teachers and 5 years of teachers and counselors in their building, but also our school learning plans. Every school learning plan in Hampton City Schools has a goal for retention and induction.
Nice. So the mentor lead, so there's one at every school. Is it just one, or is it contingent upon the number of teachers and
Yeah.
students in the building? How does that work?
That's how we started. We started with, well, if you have more than 10, I'm going to give you a lead. When we started back in maybe 2018 or so. So there was just, one at Hampton High, Andrews, your larger schools. But then right before COVID, we were able to arrange our funding so that everyone could have one because it's just helpful to be able to have someone whose eye and passion is developing a novice teacher. And it's worked out really well. We've been able to retain about 80% of that group of leaders, and it's an opportunity for teacher leaders to try to step out and lead in a way that maybe they haven't before. So when I ask the administrators to think about, this role, we want it to be someone that's not already doing multiple, leadership responsibilities so that they can really concentrate on it. And we tend to get the people that really enjoy developing people. So that's exciting.
Makes sense. It makes a whole lot of
Yeah.
sense. So, Dr. Richardson, how did the 5-year plan come about? I know through your wisdom and experience and
Yeah.
what have you, probably did a lot of research behind it, but how did this come about with a 5-year plan?
Well, the 5-year plan, I'm going to mix with that third level of the division. So our work. So when we were looking at, when I came into this work, we were looking at, well, what were we doing as a division? And really what we were doing was orientation. People use induction and orientation synonymously, but they're not. Orientation is something that happens prior to the work. And we were doing a great job at that, but we were not putting our hands on or touching or seeing those people again for the rest of the year. So I remember one spring break, it had to be the spring break of maybe 2017, where I just pulled out every article, every book that I had. Of course, the research was showing people leave at that 5-year mark. And I was like, what is it about that 5-year mark? And then looked at what we had in place and began to say, how can we make this sustainable and comprehensive? That's the definition of induction, especially with Wong's research. How can we, knowing the resources that we have in Hampton City Schools, make our approach to supporting teachers comprehensive, sustainable over multiple years? And once I saw that that was the research definition, that's where I dove in. So at the division level, we provide, yes, our orientation, and I work closely with the curriculum leaders. And we have a 6-day orientation that teachers and counselors participate in prior to pre-service. And then at the division level, we provide a gradual release of professional development conference days that we call conventions. You convene with intention. Right. And as first-year teachers and counselors, they come for 3 days. And the 3 days are strategically selected to align with the research from New Teacher Center about that disillusionment stage that teachers go through. And so we see them right at the beginning of that disillusionment stage, right at the end, and then as they're moving into their reflection stage, so that we can be a support and a positive insertion into their regular worlds. As second-year teachers, they get 2 days of professional development, and as third-year teachers, they get 1. So they gradually release. And during the first year, and maybe the second, if they opt into it or the principal says that they should, they continue with their mentoring. Now, where the fourth and fifth year came in was a lot of the teachers, our first year, when they got to the third year, they said, are we done? Are you just letting us go? Right. And Heather Peterson and I already had in place the Teacher Leadership Series, which was already a 2-year optional opportunity for veteran educators in the division to participate in leadership. A lot of people said, I'm in leadership, but I haven't actually had any training. And so that ended up being such a passion of mine to find out about what teachers needed, that's where I got my dissertation. That was my dissertation study. Yes. So we said, let's put that together, because if we can equip teachers by their 5th year, which we know is that hinge year, with not only the skills to be completely successful in their classroom, but to be successful in the workplace with the adults, the collaborative work teams, the academy team meetings, that's the other half of the work. You're not just in your classroom all day. You are collaborating and talking with the administrators, the adults, and the research also shows people don't go to school for that. Right. You don't go to school to learn how to collaborate, how to have leadership skills, communication. So our 4 tiers of the teacher leadership are communication skills, leadership skills, collaboration skills, and then diversity, equity, and inclusion. So by the time you finish with our professional development, you have had instructional strategies, skills, classroom management, instructional technology, high yield strategies, climate culture, and then those leadership skills. Because of the shortage that you spoke to, a lot of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th year teachers are the leaders in the building. They are the grade chairs. Yeah. They're because they are who are here. Yes. So why not equip them with the skills so that they can be successful?
Makes a whole lot of sense.
That's the 5-year plan.
It is a phenomenal plan as
Thank
well.
you.
So when you you're looking at the work that we're doing around attracting, recruiting, and retaining exceptional staff. So we have often tried to lump all of that together, but it should be separated out.
Oh,
We
my,
want to
yes.
attract them here, but what is going to keep them here? So what type of feedback are you getting? Because we do these exit surveys about why folks choose to leave, but I think it's critically important to also look at why you choose to stay.
Yes.
So what type of feedback are you getting in regards to why employees choose to stay with us?
Well, I'm so excited I can answer that because we did a division level stay interviews this year, which for the very reason you said, let's talk to people about why they stay versus why they go. And the number one reason that came up were our kids.
Yes.
Our kids, our schools, and the support that they get here in Hampton City
Yes.
Schools. But also the curriculum, the development opportunities that are here. Naturally, positions such as the mentor lead position or other roles like climate coach have evolved and emerged from the need in the work that we're doing.
Right.
And so there are things that people can do if they're feeling, that itch, they want to grow, they don't want to leave the classroom, but they want to try to do some other things. So there's a lot of opportunity for professional development, networking, and then support here. And then our kids, that was like the number one answer.
Absolutely. Even folks who leave and then come back.
And we
they
have a
talk
lot
about
of that.
why
We have a lot of that.
Yes.
Because I'll see them in orientation, like, hey, weren't you? Hi, nice to see you back. And that's what they say. They came back for the support,
Yes.
the clarity of role, knowing what's expected and what to do. But a lot of the support resources, especially the technology, are reasons why people return, at least informally, in conversations that I've had. But I think if we also look at some of the research that has just lifted up. I was just in a webinar yesterday. Belonging.
Right.
The sense of belonging to a school now has correlational data with retention data. So as we work on that school learning plan that I told you and being able to focus on that environment for people to
and being intentional
here.
about the retention
Yes.
aspect in your actual school learning plan.
Yes. So
What
we're
are you
moving
doing
that
to
way.
make certain you have some intentionality around folks choosing to work at your school and also choosing to stay?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving in some more with that work and supporting the principals in doing that, because we all do want people to stay, and we want people to stay. We also want to develop them so that they will be equipped to stay.
Absolutely.
So that needs to be
Absolutely.
together.
You spoke a little bit about the gradual release with the first, second, and third year. But do teachers also have a choice, or can they choose to say, okay, I know you're saying only one PD for me my third year, but can I come to the other PD that you have for the first and second year teachers? Is that option out there for them?
They do not ask that, but they do say by the time they get to the third year, because we do that in October, they're like, we're done? You're not going to see us again? So we may need to look at that. There's some internal, challenges. We want to make sure that classrooms are covered with quality people to be able to, have those days. We do have to have, coverage for those teachers to be able to come out. But we really value honoring them as the professionals that they are and not doing these things after school. All of this happens during the day, even the teacher leadership days, which we just started doing that. So they really appreciate it, and they are able to engage at such a different level because of that. But usually the mentor leads are also continuing their meetings with the different groups. So they're getting school level work. And that's the big piece about the 5-year. It's not just me. All three levels, the mentor, the school, which is also the mentor lead, and us, we're all doing activities to support
more organizational
everyone.
and systematic in the approach that you're taking as
Yeah.
well. So how do our teachers start becoming leaders?
Well, the first thing that we say is leadership does not belong to a role. It's really a mindset, and we find that once a teacher feels secure in the work they're doing in their classroom, it is not until that they're able to look beyond the four walls of their classroom and have a sense of, these are my kids in my classroom, but also my team, but now also my school. This is the group of people that I want to support. And then they just sometimes, I hate to say the research again, but the research says you usually get tapped, like, hey, I want you to help do this. And, sometimes we are recruited is the word that we use. So if you're going to be recruited, let's make sure you have the skills. But usually people are willing because they say yes, because it's something different. And we don't want people to be in a rut either. So we do want to give opportunities for people to spice up what it is that they're doing so that they can still feel like they're contributing and maybe even at a greater level.
And you and I have had some conversations before around the teacher leadership piece. It does not necessarily mean we're talking about teachers who may have aspirations of becoming a building administrator. So talk about what this teacher leadership entails.
We call our program Lead from Where You Stand because it is about the power that a teacher can actually say, I'm here with you doing this. I am still in my own classroom. So I don't want to call it the trenches, but it is about being able to have the ability to say, I'm doing this work with you, and to feel like if they can influence some of the conversation and decision. When you think about leadership, that's what it is.
Right.
Influence is not manipulation, so let's be clear. But if we can influence the conversations, the work with the administrators, the work with the teachers, all with the aim of improving teaching and learning to impact student achievement, then that's really what it's about. And when people believe that, then they'll want to step into some of these positions.
Oh,
and we have formal leadership, but you have informal leaders out there as well that are having conversations. They've garnered that respect and trust, and they have the knowledge and skills, and people go to them. So we want to make sure that we know that there are leaders out there that don't have a title.
Right. And all of that has impact on the climate and culture in the building as
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we do every year or annually now with the Rejuvenate conference.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about what Rejuvenate entails and how do you see that in terms of fitting into the realm of folks choosing to stay with Hampton City Schools?
Well, Rejuvenate, Heather Peterson's baby, was started out as a Title I conference for teachers working in Title I identified schools, and it has grown into a division level conference, and we started doing even a new teacher track within that. Rejuvenate gives an opportunity for people to choose their what they want to learn. The foundation of the conference is social emotional learning for adults and students. So that conference is kind of the jump start of the year for starting down that learning path. And we really want people in Hampton to want to learn and grow. We saw in COVID, I know you remember, you cannot learn when you're in a state of anxiety and uncertainty. But now my department, and bringing it back to the development part of my department's title, we want to give people options. So we have, if you go to the website, we have book studies that you can do that are already crafted for you. Or if you just want to engage in a structured reflection process, we have that for you. We are even now starting to pilot a personalized plan where somebody says, hey, I want to learn about this, but I don't really know how to go about structuring it. And so when me or one of our specialists will sit down and say, all right, what's your goal? What do you want to do? What type of activities? And we design that learning for them. So those are the types of things that it isn't really widespread yet, but we want to let people know, you can choose what you want to learn about, and not to take anything away from the amazing professional development that we do offer, maybe required or not, but there are other options, and hopefully people will start to see, based on either a strength they want to develop or a weakness that they see that they want to turn into an opportunity. Let's put a plan together, and you have an accountability partner in the folks in my department to help make sure that you do the things that you set out to.
Because we do recognize there are some non-negotiables that we have to make certain folks have a grasp on. But it is also pleasing to hear that there may be some things that you want to grow professionally on that is aside from the division-wide piece, and sort of like an a la carte type of situation for them, and for them to be able to be a part of this. And it's strictly voluntary when we go back to talking about Rejuvenate. So it's not that you're required to come, but the attendance is outstanding every year.
It's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. And to add to the a la carte conversation, the Innovation and Digital Learning Department also has their Cyber Learning Cafe. So there are things you can do from the comfort of your home, and you're still learning and growing. And we need to start to look at things in non-traditional ways, because that's just where the world is right now.
You're absolutely right about that. So any success stories you would like to share?
Well, one, I don't know if it's a success story, but one of my former students is a teacher
Wow.
At Lindsay. She's the art teacher.
I think that is a success story.
Yes, and Miss Workman, Jerry Lynn, was speaking about one of her former students is a new teacher at Andrews. So we were having a circle of gratitude this morning in our meeting, and we were sharing that, that is completely full circle for us to see our students are educators here in Hampton City Schools. And so I'm sure I have other success stories, but because that was fresh on my mind, our students are now the educators.
That impact that you make on folks, sometimes we don't realize can be lifelong as well.
And Dr. Haynes, I do want to highlight, we have this year so many teachers' children are first-year teachers. We just started seeing them in orientation this summer. One of our Tyler fourth grade teachers, his daughter-in-law is a teacher at Bassett, and it's all over. It would be a great story, but there are at least 5 hires that are Hampton City Schools teachers' children or children-in-law right here this year that have started with us.
It's a great legacy. Like you said, it's a great story for us to pick up as well for Hampton City Schools. Why would someone want to join our team and work for Hampton City Schools?
I think when you look at the work that we are doing in education, it's hard work. And I don't think we shy away from it here. No. I think we have dedicated people that realize it's not a dog and pony show. We are working hard. We are all working to, one, develop the teachers, but also to do what is needed for our students. And I think the more people that we have that are committed to the community part, they recognize, yes, these are our students. You're my neighbor.
Right.
You're my organization or committee neighbor. Right. So it's yes, the kids, but it's also we're doing this for the community. I think that's why people come to Hampton. I think they see that, we have people that have been here 19, 15, 20 years through COVID. We're still here. We're still doing the work and we still believe in it. So I think that's a great reason to come. And we're going to support you when you get here. We're going to make sure no matter what your role is and how unique it may be, if someone in the building, if it's someone that's not, if we have to find someone in a neighboring division to support you because you teach something so unique, we're going to make sure that you have the support. And it's not lip service. Yes. So
I think we have a systematic approach to what we're doing with the focus on the core business of teaching and learning, being synonymous with the climate and culture and making certain we address the social emotional learning aspect of our work and not just from climate and culture standpoint of young people, but working with adults as well.
Absolutely.
We're looking at making certain we're developing our staff in this whole process too. So we can't say enough about the structures and things that we have in place. And we know there are always opportunities for us to grow, but we must be doing something right because we have year after year after year produced 100% of our schools being fully accredited without conditions.
We're doing it right.
We all work together towards that common goal.
Yes.
You have provided a lot of great information, Dr. Kim. I switched to Dr. Kim now for a reason. This is why your Zumba audience, this is what your Zumba audience knows you as, Dr. Kim. But you haven't mentioned your Zumba skills yet. So tell us about how you also support our staff members' well-being through Zumba.
Well, I am a certified group fitness instructor through AFA organization, and that's just another way that I felt like I wanted to give back, was to give an opportunity for people to move and just feel good. And we come every Saturday at the Patriot Center at 9 a.m. There's no charge. You can bring a friend, just fill out the waiver, and we just have a good time. We have a great community, and I think I've been doing this since 19. So we went virtual during COVID, and I still
I remember the virtual.
Oh, my gosh.
Walked in on my daughter. I said, "What are you doing?" And she tried to get me to join. I did a little bit of it.
Yeah. Well, the amazing part about that was people just pouring in and saying, at the end of this virtual instruction day, I am able to have this space to, de-stress. And so, every year I'm like, oh gosh, I don't think I can do this. It's a lot on my plate, but I end up doing it because it's just so rewarding. So come on and move. And, we do that. And we also do our Panera distribution for our drivers. So there's a lot of opportunity that I've been supported in to be able to not just serve in my role as director, but to really support the employees here. So,
well, we appreciate all that you do to help us to attract, recruit, and retain exceptional staff. tell me a little bit more about the Panera Drive.
So I'm partnered with my church, and they call it the donut. Oh, I'm going to say it wrong. Their Panera has their community donations that they do, and so they had approached my church, but we don't have a facility to be able to distribute nor staff. And I said, well, I work in the building where the bus drivers are, so I would love to be able to bring that donation and to be able to support them. And what has happened has turned into a community building Friday experience every Friday morning at the Patriot Center. I unload. It could be a small load. It could be a huge load of bread, of pastries, of everything. And, I just spend the hour before my actual work kicks in and just distribute to the drivers. And, what has been so heartfelt are, just the gratitude. Some people are challenged with food insecurity sometime. And, some people will say, this is going to, feed my grandchildren this weekend while they're here, or whatever it may be. And so, we even have some of the Patriot Center staff to come and help unload everything and, bag it up. And so it's just become a thing that we do. It's been a few years now. And, that's just a small.
Truly heartwarming and very impactful for our community.
Well,
certainly thank you for doing that.
Sure. I didn't want to be recognized for it, but it's just, it's been great to be able to do it.
I think folks should recognize the things that we do for the community as a whole. And I know you have a lot of humility and you do things because you know it's the right thing to do. But we also thank you for all that you do as well.
Aye.
As we wrap up, is there anything else, Dr. Kim or Dr. Richardson, depending on whether it's the Zumba audience or the teacher induction aspect of you?
Well,
is there anything else you would like to share with the listening audience?
No, I just want to let people know that, as I said, this work is hard. And when we're able to do it together, the mentors, the school, the leads, when everyone is able to work together and help support and develop teachers so that we have the best qualified folks for our students in our classrooms, it's just so rewarding. And, if you choose to come here or if you are here and there's something that you need and you don't see it, I have enough flexibility within the work that we do to be able to probably offer it for you. Yes. So I just appreciate the partnership within the departments and the leadership in Hampton City Schools to be able to make this happen, because it's not easy and it takes a lot of resources. So I've been able to have that support, and we're able to do what it is that we do.
Well, we certainly thank you for your leadership and the impact that you've made in our school division and will continue to make. And certainly thank you for joining me today and for all your hard work that you do to support our teachers, staff, and administrators here in Hampton City Schools. And to our listeners, remember, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As one community, one transformation, we will ensure academic excellence for every child, every day, whatever it takes. Catch you next week.
Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools. New episodes of HCS Talks drop on Thursdays. Subscribe and listen to HCS Talks. HCS Talks is a Hampton City Schools production.